Hello and welcome back to my channel, Bookish Lady Night, where we get a look behind the book. Today I am joined by the lovely Nadia Han. She is the author of the WaterFyre Rising series, which has 6 books currently out, and The Maverick, which is coming out in June, will be the 7th. So if you enjoy billionaire romances, witty banter, strong female characters, suspense, and steamy moments, then this is your next group of reads. So run, don't walk, and go pick them up. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you so much for having me here, Catherine.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the series and the different books and any little details that you're able to share with us?
Sure. So the WaterFyre Rising series, it all started. So WaterFyre is actually an actual event in Providence, Rhode Island. It's like a summer event where the Providence River actually flows into the city behind this mall. And so there's an area where people can just kind of hang out and they do like art performances on the boat, like fire art. So it's really cool.
That is cool.
So the setting is actually in Providence, and the WaterFyre Rising is actually a video game that these billionaires created. So the story is about friends, 7 friends. They met as teens, and in order for them to stay out of trouble, they wanted to create a video game. And they have this place where they come to meet at this abandoned church, where they kind of discuss their plans. One day they witness a crime by this powerful crime organization. And as they, run away, one of the gang members catches up to them. But he lets them go because, they're kids and they were just at the wrong place at the wrong time. So you fast forward, now all these men, these boys are now men in the 30s, and the past catches up to them. So each book is about one of the guys, they're now billionaires. They overcome challenges, find love, and try to fight off this crime organization. So the first book is The Mastermind. This is my discreet cover, and the tropes is of like brother's best friend, forbidden love, suspense, billionaire, all of that. So this is.
I'm excited to read that one. Those are my favorite tropes ever.
And workplace romance as well. The second book is The Daredevil. Yeah, and this is fake dating, forced proximity, angst and steam, possessive billionaire, and lots of suspense. I love suspense and I love a good plot twist. So if you like that, all of my books are like that. And the hero in this book is actually Icelandic. He's like Nordic. Yeah, because I worked with this Icelandic woman, and like she was just so beautiful. And so she told me about her background, and so I interviewed her. And and she kind of like for spelling and like history and stuff like that to write this book.
Wonderful.
So that's The Daredevil. The third book is The Innovator, and this is enemies to lovers, workplace romance, hidden identity, possessive billionaire. This is diverse characters.
Ooh, I like the sound of that one.
Yeah.
I like the sound of all of them. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole.
And then this is The Inquisitor. Book number 4. It is second chance romance, toucher and die vibe, possessive billionaire, angst and steam.
These are all of my favorites.
Oh, good. And the 5th book is The Strategist. And this is, let me see, I forget. First proximity, angst and steam, possessive billionaire, diverse characters. Yep.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, I love that. So what inspired you for this series? Was there anything else besides, the location? Did the characters come and like talk to you, or did you have the location?
I like reading billionaire romance, and at the time I started this was like in 2021. I published my first book in 2022 for this series, and I just wanted something fun. Like I basically wrote what I like to read, like fast-paced action, romance, suspense, like a little murder, all of that. And, I wanted the characters that were like intelligent, like the men. I wanted them to be intelligent and the women to be sophisticated as well. Something witty. And so therefore, all of these men are billionaires because of their, they're wealthy because of their intelligence. They created their own wealth, this video game that's, it's basically the theme of the WaterFyre is actually a life force that's in their video game, and it's rising because each book is like a new level, and each of these men create a new game for that series.
Yeah, that's very creative.
Oh, thank you. So I just wanted something fun to read, and so I wrote it.
Okay. Yeah. So are you more of like a planner or a pantser?
I think more of a planner, but I kind of both. It depends on which book and what the characters want. Because, I mean, it's kind of like my kids. Each kid has its own personality, right? And so for a lot of them, I do have an outline. I have an outline because I have an idea of what I want. Like, I will have an idea of the stakes. I have an idea of how it's going to end. So, I mean, for example, the first book, I have like the outline for the first 20 chapters, just like 1 or 2 lines is what I want to write. But as I progressed, around chapter 15, it could change and I would add more, I switch it. But I do have like a map that will guide me. Therefore, I don't write into a wall,
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, but sometimes, like the Maverick, half of it was with an outline. The other half was just pantsing. I was just going with the flow.
Yeah.
So you just kind of like pay attention to your intuition and see what the characters want. And that's how it's just go with the flow is what my motto is.
So with plot twists, for example,
Yep.
do you know they're coming, or are you walking up to them just like we are?
I know a lot of them I know because I love a plot twist. So I kind of write down, this is what I want to happen. But sometimes I don't know. And it comes like, like, oh, wow, I could do this like for this scene. So both, I like to plan it. I like to insert like little nuggets in there, but I also like surprises too,
Don't get me wrong. I love rom-coms. I love romance, but it's like a whole other level when it adds the suspense and the drama of that, because it keeps you so engaged. It's like a movie that plays in my head.
Right. That's how it is. Like for me, I used to love watching like Law and Order, like all this Law and Order, Criminal Minds, and all of that. So I kind of like use bits of that angst with the romance.
Yeah.
Romance makes everything more beautiful.
Yeah.
And I like a fast-paced book too. So therefore, I think the murder and the suspense helps move things along.
Yeah, I definitely. Is there a moment in a book, whichever book through the series, where you were writing a scene and it just made you laugh out loud in a sense? And which book is it?
I guess I'll have to focus on the current book just because, it's like the one I know most right now instead of going back. Yeah. Let me see. There was a few scenes, but nothing really stands out. I mean, I was laughing so much because, when you're sitting there and thinking about things and like you see it in your head and you're laughing, but you don't know if it's like funny to you or just funny to everyone else, I have to think about that. There was one scene. Yeah, there was one scene when they were like in Hawaii. They were in Hawaii and the Maverick is a fake arranged marriage theme book. And so this billionaire agrees to be her fake husband. She proposed to him. This is a proposal. Like, can you help me do this? So he agrees. So they're in Hawaii because it's a fake honeymoon.
Yeah.
So they're in Hawaii and I forget what she said to him. I mean, I didn't forget, but I don't want to give out too much.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
He said that he did something good for her, so therefore he deserves a reward because she's going to buy him this like coconut drink in Hawaii. Okay. So he goes, I did this for you, do I get a reward? So what she did was she goes, yeah, you get a straw to drink from it, and so he was just so shocked because he's very serious, and so she just doesn't care, she just whips it back out. But you'll have to read the scene to see
like
how funny it is,
It's
but
like,
there's just little moments that it's very like the Maverick has a balance of like romance and serious suspense and murder, and he is on a vengeance. Okay, he is focused on this vengeance, and so for her to propose to him and take him on this fake honeymoon, it takes him out of his headspace. It's like he needs it, but he doesn't know that he needs it. He's focused on revenge, but she kind of comes in and like, so she's an artist. So how I envision it is like she is like this bold stroke of paint that kind of splashes on his like portrait. What happened? Like it's shocking to him. But sometimes you need that, right? It's like that's the plot twist, sort of. You need that change. So that's how he felt for her. He felt out of place, sort of.
Yeah.
But in a way, it makes sense for him. Like it's perfect.
I like that. Yeah. It's kind of like he's like expects a gold star. He expects something in return, and she's like,
right. Well, he expects a kiss. He expects a kiss, but it's fake, and that's on their contract. There's no touching.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that one.
So since we're on the Maverick, I can tell you more about it. So the Maverick is the seventh book, the last one, and it's diverse characters. It has a Vietnamese a hero heroine. I'm Vietnamese, so I kind of insert a lot of my culture in there, like food, like spring rolls and all of
I
those
love
like
that.
yeah. I don't know if you drink. Have you had like boba tea with
Yes.
like jelly bits? Yeah. So I
Yes.
like add a little of those fun things in, and I also kind of like is there's a part he is physically challenged, not physically disabled. He has a cane, but that doesn't bother her at all. She finds it attractive because his cane is like the cane has a symbolism to it. So you have to read the story to see at the end like why he has the cane, why he doesn't get rid of it,
Mhm.
and in what's in the cane that has from the beginning to end like it's like his friend sort of. He's had
Yeah,
it since he was a teen.
like an
So
extension of him.
yes, it is an extension of him. But one of the reasons why he is attracted to her is because she sees beyond the cane, whereas other women wants to see his money and wants, and they question about his cane in a way that is kind of offensive to him,
Yeah.
but she doesn't see that. She sees beyond that. And so therefore, that's their kind of like this person sees beyond this cave. She's an artist, so she understands. She is able to see the details. And he is a museum owner. And so that's kind of how they met, is because he hosted an exhibit of her artwork.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that. I'm excited to read that one.
Thanks.
Ooh, I like that. And that comes out in June.
What's that?
It
Yeah,
comes out
June
in June
26th.
26th. Awesome. So, out of all of your characters, who is the hardest main character for you to write?
So I think Atticus, which is in the Maverick, and the protege is Orion. So Orion is a quadrillionaire. He's not just a billionaire, he's a quadrillionaire because he comes from old money, his family, old money, in Europe. And not only that, but he's a thief. He's a thief because it's for his it's for fun, not because he needs the money, because he doesn't need the money at all. So
It's for
he's
the thrill.
the thrill of it. And it's just kind of like, he just needs something to do to take out of his headspace again because he's so focused on his empire. And his family demands a lot of him. He's the only son, he needs to be the best at everything. And so that takes a toll on you. And so for him, to go outside of that. And that night, he becomes the thief and he steals all of these amazing things, things from under the pyramid, things that you've never, heard of. So for like I had to do some research about stealing,
Yeah.
about all of these artwork that has been stolen over the years and like expensive artwork. So for me, like that was kind of hard too because like so his name is Orion because his mother is an astrologer. She's an
Okay.
astronomer too. So she is all about the stars. And I mean, I love astrology, but I don't know it enough to kind of write about it. So I had to do my research on astrology. And so for that character, it was a lot of research, but it was fun for me because I learned a lot too from that aspect. Yeah.
Cool. I love
Yeah.
that. One of my favorite old time movies is To Catch a Thief.
Yep.
I don't
Yep.
know if you've ever seen that, but he's like a wealthier person, but he
Uh-huh.
was once a thief. So he like it ends up coming back around in like
Yeah.
his circumstances,
Yeah.
and that just kind of gave me that like vibe of that. So
Yeah.
I
I haven't seen that, but yes. And then there's another movie with Pierce Brosnan. He was stealing an artwork in the museum. I forget what that movie is.
which one you're talking about, but I can't
Yeah.
remember the name. Yes, that one was really good too.
It was him and Rene Russo.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was like the mind game thing, and like that, those are the kind of things that I like to insert in my book. It's like the plot twist and the mind game. So yeah, so the protege was Orion was hard to write, but he was the most fun to write because I had to like really study, like
Uh-huh.
research a lot of things, and I know a lot of authors don't like the research because it takes time from the writing. But
Yeah.
I love the research. I love diving deep and like finding all these clues, and also I had so Alina is the heroine. She loves dandelions, and the symbolism of dandelions to me is, it represents the sun, moon, and stars. So the yellow flower is the sun, the puff is the moon,
Mhm.
and the little seedlings are the stars. So her grandmother is like into this mystical things about dandelions, and dandelions. You can eat dandelion leaves, and you can drink. They have dandelion teas and all of that. So I had to research like the different, healing properties of dandelions. And in traditional Chinese medicine, like acupuncture, they do prescribe that for herbs. There are dandelion bits and like leaves and roots within like an herbal concoction for healing. So that was
Wow.
another thing that I had to research. And it was like I learned a lot from it. I mean, I look at it from an artistic point of view because I'm also an artist. So I do like painting and stuff like that. So when I was painting, like I researched the dandelions because for me, it was like that deeper meaning to it.
Mhm.
And I like it when a book offers like a knowledge or insight into something that's deeper so that the reader can take away
Yeah.
something. So
It's
yeah.
kind of like that. I was today years old when I learned X, Y, and
Yeah,
Z. Like, because you're
yeah.
always learning,
Yeah,
always.
always, always. Yeah,
So,
even the author's learning as she's writing. So yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So, has there been a character that maybe wasn't going to be like a side character, that wasn't going to be a main character, that kind of just was like, no, I want a book, please?
There are two characters that I mean, readers have asked me to write a story for them. Maybe I'll do a novella later on when this series ends. So there's one, his name is Calvin Wong. He appears in The Strategist. He is a triad leader. Yeah,
Oh,
so he helps out, the hero and the heroine. So, I mean, just because he's a triad leader, they trust him more than they trust like a politician or
yeah,
one of those people that wear a mask. You should respect these people, but behind the scenes, they're doing all these bad things. But
exactly.
this triad leader, he, although he's a triad leader, he does things that helps society. Sometimes you
Mhm.
have to break the rules, right?
Yeah.
These rules are set up by people who breaks them all the time as well.
Yes.
So but just be so he's also in the Maverick too. And I think characters want to know more about him, and so I might do that. And there's another one in the Protege. So because see, Orion's a thief, he has a friend who's also a thief. He's called alias is the Raven. So
Okay.
people wanted a story about him as well. So I just haven't had time, but I think that later on I might do a novella for that.
It's like an interconnected web, and then there's like
Yes.
offshoots of the web. I love that
Yeah.
because I'm never ready to leave when I find
Yeah.
a series that I really love.
Oh my gosh. So in the Maverick, I am introducing the next book, the next series. So there's going to be a scene where so she owns a gallery, right? Vanessa owns a gallery. And there's this guy who comes in. He's always asking for bleeding hearts paintings of bleeding hearts, which is like a flower. Because she does a lot of flowers. So he's like, why don't you have any bleeding hearts? She goes, I just haven't had time. And he wanted to have her customize this art for her. But she goes, no. But anyway, he buys it. And then at the end of the story, there's a detective in Boston. So this new series is set in Boston.
Uh-huh.
He contacts her. He goes, one of your art is found in this apartment. This guy is wanted for murder,
Oh,
right? So in her store, she has a camera. She has a camera to see who comes in and out. But this guy's smart. He's not. He has a cap on, so you can't really see him. So that is the setting for the next book. So it's all interconnected. Like it's gonna be as new characters, but some of the old characters might come back. And stuff like that.
okay. I have to get caught up. I have to get through these so I'm ready when those come out. I love that. Down. This is a fun question. So
Yeah.
this is in regards to your male main characters. Out of the men, who would you date? Who would you marry? And who would you kick to the curb?
Oh my god. They all have different aspects of them that I like. So I don't. I think I would date Orion just because he's the most mysterious out of all of them for me. And
Okay.
also because I spent so much time researching things to create his character. So therefore, like, there's a lot of depth to him. Like I said, he likes astrology and astronomy because of his mother, and I want to learn about those, the sky, and just like the fact that how he is able to juggle so many things with ease. And I think sometimes as a woman, you just want someone to take care of things for you. Like you have so many things to do, but sometimes you just want someone else to know what you want and just take it from there. And I
Yes.
think I would date him just because, I kind of like feel more close to him because I've spent so much time researching him.
Okay. Awesome. And then so that was
The
date.
protege
Okay.
for Orion, yes.
And so who would be your marry choice?
The marry choice. Who would I marry? I guess Arrow, who's in The Strategist. He's the former Navy SEAL. And the book is like he knows what it's like. He falls first. That's the trope for the strategist. He sees the girl that he wants, and he knows for a fact that he wants her, but she doesn't like him in the beginning. So he goes after her, and he creates all these scenarios that forces them to be together. So therefore, there's that forced proximity trope.
Mm-hmm.
He creates all these scenarios where he's with her. You know, there's this one scene where she's meeting her friend for lunch, but she doesn't tell him why. So he inserts himself in there, and she asks, she's hungry, so he offers to go get in line to buy her something, but the line's so long, and he didn't want to stay in line, and he's gonna miss their conversation. Like, what are they talking about? Like, what does this guy want with her? So what he did was he offered like to pay for everybody's the people in line. He paid for all of their meals and also give them an extra gift card for like $100 as long as he gets to go next, and so this old woman was like, "Come here, honey, get in my puppy, get in, like, just go first." So I mean, I like because he's sweet, like he can be sweet, but also like very cunning as well. So
He like moves mountains.
and I think he's fun, fun to be with. So he would probably be the one I'd marry.
And then who would you be like, no, see ya?
I don't think there are any because I wrote all of these men are like men that I would somehow date. Yeah,
All right. So then,
yeah.
out of your female characters, who would be your best friend? Who would be your
Mhm.
roommate? And who would you go on a road trip?
My best friend, let's see. I was saying so Kira, she's kind of like my best friend now, more outgoing because I'm really not that outgoing, but my best friend is, so kind of like opposites. Then Kira's funny, she's like feisty. She would probably be my best friend. And who would I take on the road trip? I would probably take Vivian. She's fun too, but she knows she's a martial artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to learn from her and just have her with me where I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the other question?
So roommate, best friend, and
Oh,
road trip.
okay.
So
So roommate would probably be Vanessa because she and I are kind of similar in the way that we're both artists. We
okay.
kind of like we know that we need our own space when we need our own space, and we know when to kind of have fun as well. So yeah, I wouldn't mind living with her.
So did you always want to be a writer, or what led you down this path?
So I started off writing children's books for my kids when they were young, and I wrote and illustrated them. That was like I published that in 2019, 2019, 2020, yeah. And then COVID hit. Well, I was working full time at that time too, and I'm working full time now. But at that time, I was working full time for a fashion company, and so COVID hit, and plus, with COVID, the kids I had to be home with them for virtual schooling. So at that time, I decided, let's just publish instead of waiting to query an agent. So I did kids book first, and that was just for the kids. Kids book they don't really make a lot of money. It's just I did it for them.
Yes.
And so after that, I started writing sci-fi romance, paranormal romance under a different name.
Uh-huh.
But I also like contemporary romantic suspense too. So I decided to write those under a different name and not confuse my audience.
Yeah.
But I've always loved the art. I love to create, whether it's with words or art. And I like things that have underlining meanings. And so when you read some of my books, a lot of them I do a lot of research, but I also have like poetic lines in there that kind of like allow the reader to have their own interpretation of it. So I've always liked to
Oh,
read,
excuse me.
bless you, to read and write, but I didn't go to school for it. I went to school for designing, which is like a form of it's creativity as well, and everything helps in the
Yes.
end. Like some of my
Yeah.
bad cuts, like I'm sitting on a
Same.
computer and writing, but I
Yes.
love designing. I love like the fashion illustration, the designing, and it's fun. Like even like accessories, like things that are quick, those
Mhm.
are easy, like bags.
Yeah.
I used to make these things to sell,
Hmm.
but it was so much work just to make
Yeah.
like 10 of the same thing. I like to do fun things. I like to make one of each because it's more fun. Because once you do more than that, it's like not fun anymore.
Yeah. So, what type of? You said you paint. Do you do oil, acrylic? What type?
I do acrylic. You know, I do abstract, but I like landscape. But my
Mm.
specialty is I paint on dry leaves. Yeah,
Ooh.
dry leaves. So like oak leaves or maple leaves, I would dry them flat.
Huh.
I would paint on them with acrylic, and then I varnish them with a spray, and then
Uh-huh.
I put them in a shadow box. Yeah. So I used to sell them when I go to art shows. I used to
Uh-huh.
sell them, but now my there's no time with the book stuff and the marketing. It's just no time. But I do enjoy you know
For
creating them. But
yourself.
yeah, like sometimes I would get like previous customers emailing me like for custom pieces, like for a birthday gift or something like that. Then I'll do it for them. But I don't go to shows to do it
Yeah.
anymore. One of the popular ones was I used to paint angels on the leaves because people that's like universal, it's like for
Yeah.
healing, for Christmas, for blessing, so that
Yeah.
was what like every time I finish a book I kind of like to create a leaf with the silhouette of a couple
Yes.
on the leaf, so that's what I do.
Oh, I love that. So is that how you kind of mark your milestones?
Yeah, so yeah. Do you want to see I have an angel one. Hold on one second. So this here is an angel one.
My golly, that's gorgeous.
So it has gold paint. You can see it better in real
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
I love that. That's so creative. That's really, really cool. And that's cool that you idolize the couples and then you have it
Yeah,
as
so this is a
a
couple
memory.
here. I haven't put this in the shadow box yet.
Oh, I love that.
This guy.
That's such a cool idea. Those are beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
That you could even do that as like make a photocopy of it and
Yep.
put it for
Yeah.
your fan art for your book.
Yeah, I do. So I used one of them. So I do scene, not just a couple, but like I do like a forest scene within a leaf. So it's like a story within the leaf, like a portal. So it's like a
Yeah.
portal. And I don't think I told. Let me show you this book here. So you can see I'm improvising because I thought we were just gonna talk about the WaterFyre Rising, but I have a self help like a women's journal.
Uh-huh.
And in it, it's like it has like all unique prompts and art that I've done. But there's one with a leaf in here. I don't know if I can find it. But yeah, so if I can't find it, but yeah, so this one here. So it's a leaf that I've created for,
I
and
love
I
that.
took a picture and just kind of added it here. So it's like a forest. It's like a leaf within a leaf.
Yeah.
Um,
That's so creative.
so
I
yeah,
love that. Very, very
cute.
within your stories, because suspense and those kinds of, with the murder and different things like that, there
Mm-hmm.
could be triggering. Do you
Yep.
find that process difficult or do you find it more cathartic?
Um, I think a little of both, you know. But I like none of my books has like major triggers. I mean, they're mostly like the violence is there, but it
Mhm.
like I do mention like a little rape or sex trafficking, but they're
Yeah,
like mentions. But there's nothing that is like glaring that I think
not
would
in detail.
yeah, not that because like for me, I think it's not something that I want to read.
Yeah.
And so I don't put that in there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're making your characters, do you create like a mood board or do you do like a character interview or what do you do to really flesh them out and make them 3D?
I do have a mood board. I have a Pinterest account and I make like an inspo board for all of them
Hmm.
because it helps, like all these characters and like the details and like their occupation, their fears, all of those things are in the mood board. For the Maverick, the mood board didn't have as much because at that time when I was writing the Maverick, I was also finishing up my Romantasy book, and so I
Hmm.
had two separate mood boards and like two different things happening at the same time. So therefore, the Maverick didn't have like a thorough mood board, but the story itself was already in my head, so it flowed naturally. I didn't need a mood board.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I know you said you paint and you do the art. When you're actually writing, do you listen to music? Do you need quiet? What's your like process?
When I write, it's complete silence. But when I need inspiration, like when I'm walking or doing chores, I have music on. And
Hmm.
some of the music are instrumental because I the instrumental triggers the mind, the creative aspects in the mind. Like it triggers a part of my brain that I can see my story and I can see different plots. And if I'm stuck at a scene,
Hmm.
playing the instrumental music somehow just kind of like unlocks it. It's like
Okay.
my meditation
Yeah.
somehow. But when I write, it's complete silence. Like I kind of just drop into myself.
Hmm.
Like, I drop into the space and I just write because I see the characters, I hear them, and I just go from there. I know a lot of authors, and some of my friends write with playing a lot of music,
Hmm.
and for me, I can't do that. If it's something that like even when I paint, when I paint, I play instrumental music in the background too. There's something with the instrumental music. I know studies have like proved certain like music can just trigger
Mm-hmm.
things in your brain, and for me, like that's what I listen to. Yeah.
So, with you being a reader also, and I know you said you like reading Billionaire, what are some
Mhm.
other, besides suspense, like, I guess not micro tropes, but like Brother's Best Friend or Forced Proximity, what are your favorites to read?
I like to read different kinds of things. Like I like thriller, like Frida McFadden, like thriller.
Uh-huh.
And when I was in college, my sister introduced me to Nora Roberts. So I read some of her books, but I like her J.D. Robb, which is more like a futuristic
Mm-hmm.
and like a detective book. So I read her sometimes too. But when I read these days, it's more like audiobooks because I
Okay.
spend so much time on the computer. My eyesight is so bad now.
Uh,
I'm just writing and like just I can't. So by the time I'm in bed, like I'm tired. So I listen to audiobooks. And when I'm driving to work, the audiobook is on.
yeah.
And I like to read self-help books too, just kind of like motivate myself. Sometimes you just have days where you feel like you need a motivation to keep on going because you're doing so much. As a mom, you understand. So
Yes.
I like to read books that talk about anything like I said, astrology, health, all of those things somehow just kind of like I pick all the it's just knowledge floating around my head, and I just pick things when I write. I
Mhm.
kind of use those things. So therefore, like I read all kinds of stuff, kids books too. Even though my kids are older now, because some of the kids books are really smart.
Yes.
Like even the way that they're written, they're just so simple, but there's
Mhm.
meaning behind that simplicity.
Yes.
And even the art in itself is just so simple. But like it
Yes.
brings you joy. And so like I like to read those kids books sometimes too. It's fast reading, but I look at them for the art and the simplicity of it.
Yes. I love looking at, well, my kids are still little, but I love, that's like my favorite, like, guilty pleasures to buy like a children's book because of the
Yeah.
artwork. And I still probably keep them even after my kids are like done with them.
Yeah, all the hardcover, like I keep them because I mean it's like it's special. I feel like they're like little precious moments
Mhm.
that it's in the book, and then you can keep them, and even adults can still read and learn from them too.
Was that when my mom read when I was a kid that I'm now reading with my kids, and I'm like, I'm
Oh,
never
that's
getting rid of these.
amazing.
I'm gonna keep them. So I like that. So if you could go back in time
Yeah,
into a time machine and talk to your younger writing self, would there be
yeah.
anything that you tell yourself knowing what you know now?
I would just say keep writing, and don't give up, because I mean there are moments that I wanted to give up. It's just like hard, to juggle so many things, and I was right. I mean, to write this and also to maintain like a full time job.
Mhm.
Um, and family, so it's hard. But and there are moments when you just want to like, why are you writing? But I think the important thing is write what makes you happy. You want to write stories that you want to read, not because it's what's popular now, because that the trends can just come and go. But if
Yeah,
you write from your heart, it's always there, and that's what makes you want to write the next book. And I
yeah,
think when you put good energy into a book, the readers know. Like if you put all your heart and soul into it, they can sense it. They
hmm,
can sense a book that has so much into it and a book that's just written really fast.
hmm.
You know?
Yes, I totally agree. I can
Yeah.
feel that when I'm reading it.
Yes. Because I mean, I'm a spiritual person, so I believe like everything is energy. And so when you have good intention, when you put your heart and soul into something, it's there. You can feel it. It's just like when you meet somebody in the room, you can feel their energy.
Mhm.
Sometimes like your intuition tells you. So if you listen to that, it's never wrong. You
Yes,
know?
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. So like
Yeah.
things like that where it's
Yeah.
just the intent you're putting into yourself and the intent you're putting out into the world. I
Definitely. Yeah.
definitely agree with you.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
thank you. Does writing energize you or does it make you tired?
It energizes me because I think like there's an energy to writing too. For me there's an energy to art, and that is my connection. I think we all have things that energizes us in a way that you can explain. Some people listen to music, some people cook, some people exercise, and for me it's the writing. Like when I pray for my family or whatever, it's like a writing in itself. And so sometimes I write as a prayer, like I write like dear God or whatever. Like there's this connection that I can't describe,
Yeah.
that makes me feel at peace.
Mhm.
The same thing with art too. Like when I do art, my brain is shut off. Like it just comes from the heart. Like I don't care. I just kind of go with the flow. When
Yeah.
I write, it's different. When I write, a part of it is mental, especially with the book, it's mental. But when I write, like say when I'm writing in like a diary, a lot of part of it is heart, part of it is mental because the thought and the mind. But when I'm painting, it's like when I'm doing art, it's all heart. Like I shut off the brain. And so therefore sometimes like after like a long day of writing, I would just sit and do art because that refills my cup,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that would be.
Like when you're in the zone, you just like have this image in mind that you want to create something, and like the mind is shut off. Like all your to-do list is out the window, and you
Yes.
just focus on that project.
And that's what
Yeah.
it's so much more meaningful when while you're having that escape, you have like a deep like connection to the work.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
That's
it's
great.
more meaningful. So do you have a writing kryptonite, something that derails you when you're writing?
What do you mean? Yeah, I guess it's more like if there's a family emergency, for my kids or my mom or my aunt,
Yeah.
like that's kind of like, kind of throws me off. But for me, I like to I have a goal like 2,000 words a day. I usually write in the morning when I wake up before I go to work. And if I'm not so busy at lunchtime, I would dictate something on my phone during my lunch hour. And a lot of time is at night after the kids, helping them with homework and all of that, the weekends. But, I try to maintain that because 2,000 words a day, 30 days, that's 60,000 words. But of course, not every day I get to meet that number, but it's a
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I've learned is that not to beat yourself up when you don't reach that goal. Because I do before, I was like, oh, I'm behind now because I didn't reach my 2,000 words. And so that kind of just like threw off my day. But now, I've learned to look at the positive way. Like it's more than what I've done before, and I can catch up another day. And some days I write more than 2,000 words.
Yeah.
So I've learned to go with the flow and to celebrate the little wins.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
good. That's important because then if you don't do that and you're so focused on like a deadline, it kind of
Yes.
takes out the joy of it.
Yes. Yeah. And plus my daughter's 13 now. And so I am trying to teach her the, scheduling routine because she's going into high school next year. And not to stress herself out. And so, I mean, she's also very anal with certain things, getting things done. And when she doesn't reach that thing, it kind of throws her off too. And so I'm trying to teach her. And by example, like focus on the small wins, and organize yourself so that you have enough time to do things. And whatever those little things that you finish, that you've accomplished, celebrate those.
Mm-hmm.
And that way it helps break down the projects into like little pieces that's
Yeah.
not so, big.
Yeah, it makes it a little less overwhelming and
Yeah.
more manageable.
Yeah.
So, is there a moment in time where you have felt really proud during your writing journey?
Yes. Like right when I finished the Maverick, when I wrote like the end mentally, it was like, wow, the seventh book. When I first started this, I knew it was going to be 7 books because 7 is my lucky number.
Oh, I love
Um,
seven.
and so this was the end. It's like the completion. I
Uh-huh.
can like wrap everything up and tie in a bow. And I was like, I did it. And I didn't do it for anyone else. I didn't do it because it's, this the popular theme like right now in the book world or writing to market. This is because I wrote this for myself. Like these are people, these characters are what I love, and like I just wrote them because it's a good story
Yeah.
and for me. And also like I wanted to do a special like a deluxe edition for the series on Kickstarter. And
Mhm.
so to finish, I didn't want to do it until I finished the series. So
Yeah.
now that it's finished, I can start like all these like wonderful ideas that I wanted to do to offer to my readers for the deluxe edition with the foil covers and all the extra character art and the 2-page artwork.
You'll have to share that with me once
Yes,
you
I
get it
will.
up there. I love getting Kickstarters because they're usually like a special edition. They're not
Yeah,
like mass produced. They're
yeah,
artwork. They're very
yeah.
beautiful. I love that.
I did it for my other name for the Romantasy because it was one book. It gave me like the experience to do all of these books. And
Yeah.
so what I learned was that so the Romantasy, I wanted it to be so it's 492 pages if you were to buy on Amazon later. But because the Kickstarter has the 2-page art, I did a lot of art for it. It made it to 612 pages
Wow.
because 2-page art for the chapter, so each chapter has to be on the right side. So it's like double, like it added like another 120 pages because of the 2-page art. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so people who got the book, they got a good deal because at that time it was just going to be over 450 pages, not 612, you
Yeah.
know. But
Wow.
yeah, so now I know that. I didn't calculate that in my mind, like, oh, 2-page art. That's like more pages than normal. But I didn't know that at the time, but now I know that.
Yeah. I'm sure
But
it's
yeah.
beautiful though. Oh, I love that when you put the art in the book. I just
Yeah, it's like everything is a lot of art, but it was fun. I can't wait to send it to my supporters.
yeah, that's great. So
Yeah.
what in your opinion makes a great story?
A great story has characters that are flawed, relatable, because we are all flawed, right? We all have issues.
Yeah.
We're on earth here to learn a lesson. And so I think it's the same thing with the characters. And I think the deeper the lesson and how they overcome it and what they've learned at the end makes a great book, along with the suspense and the romance. And that reflects life because life has romance, but it also has other things that's happening. And so for me, a good book encompasses all of those things. Yeah.
So is there any events that we will see you at in the near future?
Not for this year. I mean, I have like a local one. It's at this restaurant with like a few authors for fun, but I was trying to slow down this year and just kind of focus on finishing the book, getting my Kickstarter books out to the readers, and starting a new project and stuff like that. So, but not maybe next year.
Next year.
I've done it in the past, and it's kind of like exhausting
Yes.
to lug everything.
Yes.
It's like
Can be a
really
lot.
tiring.
Yeah.
But I'm not in the near future. I mean, not this year, but maybe next year. Yeah.
And then, do we have an idea of new books this year besides this one, or is it going to be into next year that we'll see some stuff from
So
you?
the next year, the new book for the new series is next year. But I might have a surprise around the holidays. I'm not making any promises. It might be a surprise.
All right.
Yes,
So we need
my
to keep
readers don't
follow.
know. Yep. Because right now, yeah, I'm. It's just a little thing that I'm doing on the side for me, with
Yeah.
no deadlines. No deadlines. Like no stress.
Yeah.
So when it's done, it's done. When it's not, then it's next year.
Yeah.
But yeah. But the new series is called. It's the new book is called Etched in Ink, and it's the Boston. It's gonna be like the Boston Billionaires. So that's next year.
I'm
Yes.
excited. So we'll have to mark our calendars and
Yeah.
follow you on Instagram to keep up with
Yes.
the
Yeah.
latest
What
news.
are
So, out of all of your characters, is there any that have couples or just a specific character that's really stuck with you?
I think it's Vanessa because I this is the new book in the Maverick. She stuck with it because she's Vietnamese and she's half Haitian,
Mm-hmm.
so she's mixed, kind of like my sister-in-law who's mixed as well, mixed race. But she stuck with me because how she sees herself. So she wasn't conceived because her parents loved each other. She was conceived in a way that was kind of like violent, but you don't see that part. But regardless of that, her mother loves her and her mother kept her. And I think she has this inkling where, when growing up, she felt unworthy, because she didn't have a father beside her. And
Mm-hmm.
all these kids would tease her, and she felt like she was unworthy. But she overcame that. And in her painting, she paints a lot of water lilies and lotuses because they grew from the mud.
Yes.
Yep. And so she sees herself as that. And at the end, he makes her feel worthy. So yeah. So I think she stuck with me because, I kind of wanted to write something to add my culture in it too. And so I think like that Vanessa kind of stuck with me just because, she's the newest heroine that I've been
Yeah.
working with. Yeah.
I'm excited
Yeah.
to read that one. So, what is the more difficult type scenes for you to write?
I think it depends on the book. Sometimes it's a sex scene. Sometimes it's like the forgiving scene, the grovel scene. It all
Mm-hmm.
depends. But I think even if I'm stuck in a scene, like I sometimes just kind of write for fun, like write out the scene, like that's not in the manuscript yet. And once I've settled, it's kind of like writing out your own problems. You write it out, and then if it sounds okay, then you can add it into the book. But it all depends on the book. Like I said, sometimes it's this romantic scene, sometimes it's the grovel scene, sometimes it's like the death scene.
Yeah.
They're all different for me, but there's none that's like more difficult.
Is there one that you really enjoy? Types of scenes you really enjoy writing?
Like sometimes the sex scene, sometimes the murder scene. It all depends. Like sometimes, like I know, yeah, like sometimes I know how this person's gonna die, or like, I want this is how I want him or her to get killed, and like I get so excited about it. And
Yeah.
sometimes like some books, it takes a while.
To like work it out and
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
percolate in your mind.
Yes.
Well, okay, so since you talked about the spirit side of you and also that you do the sci-fi
Yeah.
side, I usually ask these two questions of more fantasy and paranormal, but you have
Yeah.
done that. So I'm going to ask these two of you. So what do you feel is your spirit animal for the spiritual side?
It depends, right? Right now, I have to say it's the dragon
Okay.
because my fantasy has dragons in it.
Hmm.
Um, and I the Asian dragon has like 9 parts. It's made from 9 different creatures. So the body of the serpent, the goat head, this fish scale. And it has all of those, and all of those animals have
Uh-huh.
meaning to it. And I think, for me, right now it's the dragon because I'm kind of like honing into that energy, the
Hmm.
dragon, mystical energy. But it depends on where I am in my life. Like sometimes I feel like the butterfly, the metamorphosis, or the phoenix rising from the ashes, like the new me. But it all depends where I am in my life. Right now, it's a dragon because it's what I'm writing. I'm
It's your
all
writing.
like everything is dragon right now.
Yeah. Do you struggle with writing for the opposite sex in that sense, like in that
I
mentality?
think in the beginning, yes, but then I now I just ask my husband. I'm like, can you read this same
Hmm.
dialogue to make sure they're manly, to make
Yeah.
sure this is how a man would reply. So he helps me with that. But yeah, in the beginning, I was like, oh, is this really how it works? How come like he doesn't sound very manly to me? But I would ask my husband for his perspective. But after writing so many books and reading more books, like I kind of understand how
It's
they
coming
work.
more easily for you.
Yeah, yeah.
This one more of a fun one. So, is there something unique or quirky about you that we maybe don't know?
I think I told you everything about me already.
Yeah.
Oh, an artist. I do like to do yoga. I like to do, but that's not really quirky or whatever. Oh, I love to go outside with my kids and look for 4-leaf clovers. We do these. We find a lot, and so I have a book with a bunch of it in it. So what we do is we find them, then we put them in our book, and we tape them up, and we date them.
That's
So
so cool.
yes, we date them. So now I have books from like years ago. It's how many I found this year. Sometimes we find 5-leaf clovers. Sometimes we find 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, on
So,
average, how many do you find of like 4 leaf?
oh, it depends. Like what. So there's a nice patch behind my house that always have it. Or,
Uh-huh.
you can find like about 10, 15. Yeah. So,
That's fun.
yeah, it's kind of like my meditation. My kids like to do it too. So they each have a book. We started this thing where we each have a book, a notebook where we tape all of our clovers there. But
And
yeah.
they'll remember that. That'll be a memory that
Yeah.
they'll have,
So that's
that
why I
they'll
wanted
share with
to
their
do
kids probably.
exactly. Like, do you want to do this? It's cool.
Yeah.
For me, I see it as collecting luck and blessings, and why not, right? And spending time in nature.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
So with the covers, do you enjoy that process being an artist? Do you work with the covers or do you hire someone to do them for you?
I do my covers. I love the process, like especially the discrete when it's just art. I love like working with Photoshop, Illustrator. I like doing the cover. I think it's one of like the fun part for me for the
Yeah.
book because I don't really have to think about anything, and I don't have a deadline. I can make all the changes I want without
Mhm.
having to pay anyone. So it's fun. I love doing covers, and I don't. And I would have like I would love to do other special editions with a bunch of covers. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
So then my last question for you is what message do you want readers to take away from after finishing your books?
I think my intention when I write is for them to learn something new that they haven't learned before from reading my book. It could be anything. It could be a new insight about, for example, dandelions, the symbolism, or astrology and astronomy. Like there's like a galaxy next to us. Or like for the Inquisitor, what I did was he's a doctor, but he's like a holistic doctor. He loves to study plants and herbs and stuff like that. And like for me, like I had to do research on like the different kind of herbs and what it does to the body. And that for me was like a learning process too. And so I hope that when someone reads the book, they took away something.
Mhm.
And that wasn't like, that's actually a fact, that I've kind of like inserted into the book. It's not fantasy
Yeah.
healing. It's actually something they can actually use. So yeah, I want, like, when I read any book, I want to learn something new, and I think, and I hope that I've delivered that to the readers.
It's
Yeah.
a great little nugget for the future for them of something
Yeah.
that they can share with someone else or
Yes.
learn
Yep.
something new. So I love that. And I will link all the information below on where to find you on Instagram as well as for your books. I saw that you have a website
Yes.
link
Yep.
on there. So I've put that below for all of you guys to find it faster. If you have a book bestie that loves
Mhm.
billionaire romances, loves suspense, definitely forward this along to them and join me next time as we get another look behind the book. And I want to thank you so much for coming on today and chatting with me and sharing with us all about your journey and your writing and your amazing characters.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.